I wouldn't want to fight no naked man,
especially in the mid.
And that's exactly what was happening. You know, who the heck want to fight a naked man? You know.
Oh, I remember something else.
don't touch
me. Something about they was camping out or whatever on the Sabbath day. And they didn't want to fight on the Sabbath day, so they went So they went over there because they knew they wasn't gonna do nothing on the Sabbath.
Right. So now when the Greeks tried to conquer us, you had a lot of our people didn't want to fight on the Sabbath day. All right. Because they wanted to keep the Sabbath. And the Greeks said, well, I would take full advantage of it. And ran down on them and killed as many people as they can. Killed all of them, pretty much. You understand? So that's why I was trying to give you that little recap of who they is. I'm gonna read something else though. Go to chapter stay in chapter 1 and go to verse 16. Read that. 16.
Now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion of 2 realms.
Keep reading.
Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots and elephants and horsemen and a great navy.
Remember in the movie Persia? I mean, in the movie.
Yeah, they came with the boats.
They came with the elephants. They came.
The Persians.
Right. The Persians fought them with the elephants.
Exactly. Yeah.
But see, by this time, right, they were using the Persians and their elephants.
Exactly.
Because they had conquered them already.
Because by this time they already conquered the Persians. So now once you conquer people, what do? You make them fight in your war.
Exactly.
Yep.
Now you're my slaves and you're going to fight my war. You're going to fight for me.
And they normally send you to war before they even send their own soldiers.
Right. Keep reading.
And made war against the
Ptolemy,
king of Egypt. But Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled. And many were wounded to death. Thus they got the strong cities in the land of Egypt. And he took the spoils thereof.
Right. So this is them conquering Africa. All right. This is how white people got into Egypt. They had conquered Egypt. Go to verse 41.
41. Moreover, King Antiochus. Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agree according to the commandment of the king.
So this was another thing they was doing. They were trying to create an empire where all nations could come together and be one people. Under them, they created the melting pot. That's what they wanted.
Yeah, and also, right, it's one thing y'all see in verse 42. It says, "Leave his laws." They wanted them to leave their laws, which was our laws. Was what? The commandments of the Bible. You feel what I'm saying? So they wanted us to leave our culture. Go ahead.
Right. No, you could have kept expounding, but keep it as short. That's what it was. And here's another thing they was doing when they wanted to make us all one. Read verse 56.
56. And when they had rent into pieces the books of the law which they found, they burnt them with fire.
So when they came into our land, they took all of our Bibles. They ripped our Bibles up and burned the Bibles, all right? Because they didn't want us to remember who we were. Read on.
And wheresoever was found with any the book of testament, or if any consented to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death.
So they made it illegal for us to live like Jews. They made it illegal for us to live out our culture, and they killed us. Read verse 61.
And they hanged the infants about their necks, and rifled their houses and slew them that they had circumcised them.
So they killed our babies. That's what they would do. Take our babies and hang them and choke them out. And any of our babies that was circumcised, like they were supposed to be, they killed them because they didn't want us living that culture. So who remembers what happened after this though?
They threw him in the water.
12 years later.
That's Moses, bro.
12 years later,
Alexander the Great died.
Yeah, Alexander the Great died. You right?
HIV or something.
And he what?
I said from like HIV or something.
From no syphilis. He died from syphilis.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
I got good memory, man.
that's a rare people, right?
Huh?
Man,
That's
12
only
minutes
you
later,
get
that
from
was-
this game, right?
No. That you could get syphilis as a heterosexual or as a gay person, just immoral sex, not using protection. Sleeping with this one and that one, and yeah, Alexander got it because he was sleeping with little boys.
with animals. Don't forget
Yeah,
about
that's actually how it started, right? But Alexander, he got it because he was having sex with little boys.
Telling you, bro, boy was fruity.
Yeah, and on top of that,
All of them were fruity over there.
the word gymnasium means what? Y'all
to
cool?
exercise.
Yeah, like she said, man, it's the exercise.
No.
You feel what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
you ain't off
No.
To exercise while being what?
Naked.
Naked.
You feel me? They was
Exactly.
exercising while being
So
naked.
all of the
That's
gyms
right,
that they started, those was gyms where they would be naked. Everybody in the gym naked, and they would take little boys. All of the older men would take little boys and mentor them. All right, and molest the little boys until they get old enough to do the same thing.
Imagine a basketball coach doing that. Pretty much.
Right.
Also,
This
like,
this is the reason why when you go to the gym, why do you think all of the showers is open for
Yeah.
everybody to see?
Same thing in the schools.
You understand? Because this is still the same culture. This is still the same people. You understand? They don't really change their policies. They just, change the wording and make it seem different. But it's a reason why when you go to your locker room, everything open, you can see everybody naked. You understand? Ain't nowhere for you to really change. You gotta put the towel around you and then try to put your underwear on with the towel still on you and all of that stuff. You understand? Because this is where it come from. It started with this culture.
Another thing I remember we talked about last week, you said it was something about a guy who had 2 sons, and it was his friend killed his son, and he didn't do nothing about it even when he was.
I know it's about David.
Who?
David.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
When
female,
David was
right?
on the run.
It was over a female.
Actually, she was talking about you know how in the chapter of Maccabees chapter 2. You feel what I'm saying? First Maccabees chapter 2. At the end of it, it talks about the prophets and how they basically was warriors and everything like that.
Right. And he
And
was
he
bringing
started
up
bringing
David and everybody.
Yeah, you
So
was
we want
going
a little
into
bit of
it, you know
history
what I'm
into
saying?
everybody.
Good.
David was a John.
Wait.
I got a
Honey got some good
I
memory,
got a
man.
good question.
The battle of the memories.
What makes a prophet a prophet? Like, what makes God decide? Oh, this one is the prophet of me. Like,
Well, no one knows the mind of the Most High, but the scripture do tell you that holy men spake as the Most High used them. So you got to be holy, you got to be righteous. The Most High choose
It's about
somebody.
your heart, pretty much.
is somebody that He knows going to keep their integrity. Even when they in a moment of sin. Because like when you look at people like David wasn't perfect. He committed sins, but the Most High still used David as a prophet. Samson wasn't perfect either, but Samson had a certain level of integrity that the Most High appreciated, and he used Samson to take out the Canaanites. So, I would say just trying to be righteous to the best of your ability and being truthful with yourself and the Most High. I think that's what will make the Most High see you in that manner.
And also depending on the time also, because certain times like he allowed prophets to be around, and other times he really just took us away from all of that too.
Mm-hmm. Now, being that she brought up how they was talking about David and the forefathers and all of that, after that, now I'm gonna expound on the part that's gonna put you up to speed, so we could keep reading. After that, Mattathias, the one who rebelled against everybody because he couldn't stand what was happening at that time, and he was so zealous that he ended up killing some of the Greeks who was trying to force him to idol worship. He was about to die, and he passed on the torch to his sons. All right, and he told all his sons how he wanted them to lead. You know, Judas was, I think, like the third born son or something like that. He wanted him to be the leader. Simon was like the second born son, but he was the smart one. He wanted him to be the counselor. And he told his sons, listen, I want y'all to take my place and continue to fight against the Greeks because I'm about to die. All right. And when Mattathias died, whatever, his sons took over. And now this is the part where we at in the story.
And remember, their names is Simon, Maccabees, and what was the third one? Modin. Modin?
No, they came from Modin.
No, they came from Modin. It was 3 kids.
It was more than 3.
But this is the main ones.
You're right.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to say that y'all gotta get in that mode about where his thinking was and where their thinking was, because they was able to coexist like that. You feel me? As brothers, as
they respected
brothers,
one another.
They respected their authority. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The authority that the Father gave them. It's like it's me and Wawa, right? Me, Wawa, and y'all. You feel what I'm saying? And mommy be like, oh, God said that he's the smartest. Let him be the brains. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Wawan's the warrior. Let him be the captain.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta put in that mind of how everybody's thinking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like how people had to be humble enough to be able to
accept each other's talents and know when to fall back and know when to push forward too.
And y'all, the way y'all apply that into y'all own lives is just understanding that everybody's gonna have different talents.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? And y'all have to respect each other's talents,
each other's craft.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right,
also,
and have confidence in your own ability.
Yeah.
When you have confidence in your own ability, you won't never feel threatened about what somebody else could do.
Yeah.
You will respect what other people could do more because you'll say, you know what? They could do that, and I understand that, but I'm good at what I do.
Yeah.
You understand?
Another thing, use each
I think
other
Silas-
crafts. You feel
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
Use
Silas-
each other talents that y'all have. You feel me? Build off of each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now that we back up to speed, let's start reading First Maccabees chapter 3, and we're gonna read. We're gonna try to get through this whole chapter to give the understanding of what we about to celebrate. That's coming up in the up and coming days, or weeks, which is Hanukkah, the rededication. So Yaakov, I want you to start chapter 3, verse 1.
Chapter 3, verse 1. First Maccabees. And it reads, then his son Judas, called Maccabees, rose up in his stead.
So now Judas, he took over after his father died. Right? Read on.
And his brethren helped him. So did all they that held with his father.
Right. So now he had all his brothers with him to be by his side. Because like Yaakov said, none of them was jealous of one another. They all understood about the greater good and how it was important for them to help one another. But not only did he have his brothers helping him, but he even had the ones who was fighting with his father that was still around helping him too. Like, hey, look, you know your father used to do this. And he would, if your father was here, he would do it like this. They had all of that. He had all of that help around him so he could be good at war, right? Read on.
And they fought with cheerfulness in the battle of Israel.
Meaning they had fun when they went to go out there and fight in the war. Can you imagine that? Somebody would be terrified of war. You get on the battlefield, you see arrows flying and people getting cut up and you could get scared. But these guys was cheerful on the battlefield.
You know what it is? When you trust your skills, you go into like a basketball court or a football ball, and it's actually fun. You're not like intimidated by like the opposite team, because I remember being like that too, where it's almost like a level of cockiness where they come and they trying to spike you, hitting the ball back up, like back in your court.
Like that's how I feel like when I do music and I'm rapping, I'm so confident at what I do. I just got a smile on my face the whole time.
I'm about to,
you know what I'm saying? Like I know y'all little young cats think y'all can spit, but this is how they was with war. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They went out there like yo, throw it to me.
Like on some Kyrie Irving stuff, and he was like, "Oh, hold my nuts." You know?
Everybody's saying that in school.
Oh my goodness.
So So when he said
Uncle
that,
Drew.
he's
Oh,
basically, you feel me? He had a certain cockiness about him, like knowing, like, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
This is what I do.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
gave him
yeah.
nuts though. That's a funny part. He literally
It's a bag
gave
of
him nuts.
peanuts. But,
keep reading. No more nuts. No more nuts. Let's keep reading.
So he got his people great honor and put on a breastplate as a great.
No, put on the breastplate as a giant.
Oh, that's a giant. Okay, I said great.
So meaning his armor made him look buffed up.
As a giant.
All right, read on.
And grit his warlike harness about him.
Right, he had the same way how we got the golden girdles and all of that, but he had a real one.
Yeah.
All right, this was just warrior get. This is how we used to dress as Hebrew Israelites. Read on.
And he made battles protecting the host with his sword. In his axe, he was like a lion.
Meaning he would get on that field and he was as ferocious as a lion.
Yeah.
All right, read on.
And like a lion's whelp roaring for his prey.
Man, like a young lion though, not an old one. He was like a young lion ready to fight. Read on.
For he pursued the wicked.
Oh, meaning if he on the battlefield, people was running from him.
He was chasing
and
after
he's
them.
chasing after people, beating them down, cutting them up. Right? Read on.
And sought them out. Burnt up those that vex his people.
And look, and if you was responsible for killing his people or hurting his people in some type of way, he searched you out, and when he found you, he would burn you down, burn your house down, kill you. The same way that you did it to our people. All right. See, this is the type of spirit that they don't want the black man to have anymore. Because if you notice, like all of these things is happening with the random black people getting stabbed and police killing people, it's always happening to the ones that soft tone and the ones that feel like they could be accepted in the society. So now white supremacist terrorists are seeing that and they know like that dude weak. I could get him. He
not only
dressed like
that,
a
but
thug,
he's
but I
not
could
even
get him.
expecting it either.
He's not expecting you to fight back because he could see you weak in your eyes. But then the person that's on point and watching, they won't do that. Like they'll go stab up a 67-year-old man. You understand? Or a young lady unsuspecting walking to the train or something like that. They would never go after somebody who could fight like them, who they know gonna fight back. They not gonna go after him.
And it's just a certain type of look of males that they see. Like when they see a certain male, that's why they don't want y'all having facial hair for certain jobs and everything like that. Because when they see a certain male like myself, or like the brother, they see us, they get intimidated already. You feel me? They looking at this like these is men. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
These is not boys right here. These is men.
Read on.
You feel me? Wherefore the wicked struck for fear.
Yo, it said they shrunk from fear. They get scared. Like, yo, so when they see him, read on.
And all the workers of iniquity were troubled because salvation prospered in his hand.
Because salvation prospered. This is what it means
Salvation
to
for
be
the
saved.
Jews too.
Right. This is what it means to be saved.
Yeah.
To free yourself from your enemies. Right? Read on.
He grieved also many kings.
So now, whoever was ruling at the time, while all of this is going on, they would get upset like, "Daggone it, them Jews rebelling again." They just had a riot in another city. They done killed all my men. This day going Judas Maccabeus. I hate this guy. Right? Read on.
And made Jacob glad with his axe.
Made Jacob glad. That's our forefather. Made our forefathers happy at what we were doing by fighting back. This is what they feared when Nat Turner was around. When Nat Turner had his slave rebellion and was going from plantation to plantation and killing white people while they would sleep in their beds. You understand? They was in fear that they was in so much fear that all of the counties and the cities around them for a mere little 100 group of slaves teamed up together to kill these people. All right. Read on.
And one thing I noticed, it said making Jacob glad.
Yeah, our forefathers was happy about that thing, man.
So a lot of times when we're fighting against the oppression, you feel what I'm saying? Our forefathers are happy about what we're doing. You feel what I'm saying? Wherefore Judas took their spoils, and Apollonius sword also, and therewith he fought all his long.
This is how we was able to fight against a mass army so strong, because whenever we won a battle, we would take their spoils. We would take all of their weapons, we would take their armor, whatever was valuable or useful for us in war, we would take that and then use it against them in the next battle. Read on.
And one thing that I wanted to see if y'all remember, the brother said the other day that this was what these certain group of people used to go against a certain group of people. Do y'all remember who he was talking about?
I didn't even understand what you were saying.
All right, the book of Maccabees. There was a certain group of people that used this book to go against a group of people. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. The people that's fighting, Judas Maccabeus, all of these people, they are Haitians.
Yeah.
You understand? And these Haitians left this book behind for us. So when we was in slavery here throughout the Americas, you had the actual modern day Haitians read this book and get inspired to start what we know as the Haitian Revolution today. This is the reason why still to this day they don't allow any Bibles with the Apocrypha in it over there. You understand? Because it inspired the Haitian Revolution. You understand? But read on, and this is an inspiring book. You read stuff like this, it make you want to go to war right now. Like, where's the guns? Let's go. But we can't do that right now. You understand? Because this time around, Yahushua is going to be the one to come back and put that spirit in us to be able to go to war and do what we got to do. Right now, it's all about protecting our own and making sure we don't get caught up in the storm when all of this crazy stuff start happening before the return.
And like the sister always said, you got to be wise as a serpent. As a dove.
Exactly. Keep reading.
Wherefore Judas took their spoils and Apollonius sword also, and therewith he fought all his life long. Now when Syria.
I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong verse. Siron, right.
Now when Siron, a prince of the army of Syria, heard say that Judas had gathered unto him a multitude and company of the faithful to go out with him to war.
Now notice it said the ones that Judas gathered together was the faithful.
Exactly.
He didn't have a whole lot of people. He just had the right people. The people that was ready to go to war. The people that was wasn't afraid. That's all he needed. And this was already putting fear in this king, right?
And you got to think about how close knit they was. Because that's all they had. They were in the wilderness.
And most of them were family. Right? Read on.
He said, I will get me a name and honor in the kingdom. For I will go fight with Judas and them that are with him, who despise the king's commandments.
So now you have this king thinking, oh, the white man gonna like me more if I be able to beat Judas Maccabeus. So let me come up against the Israelites. This is the same thing happening on YouTube, where you got all of these different groups with different beliefs thinking, if I could defeat the Israelites in a debate or a battle, then I'm gonna get more YouTube views. You know what I'm saying? But you can't come up against us. The Most High with us. As long as the Most High with us, who could be against us?
That's right.
Right? Read on.
So he made him ready to go up, and there went with him a mighty host of the ungodly to help him, to be avenged of the children of Israel.
So now these people want revenge, because now we've been taking our land back. We've been going to war with them, knocking them out, killing them. You know what I'm saying? Now they want revenge. But they the ones that started it though. You ever notice that? Somebody want to fight you and all of that stuff, and they mad because you defended yourself. How you mad because I defend myself?
You defending yourself, but you beat him up though.
yeah, exactly. And people, but see, this is what's going to happen even when you're in school. You understand? You're going to have bullies that try to come up against you, and then when you fight back and show them that you just as strong or even stronger than them, it's gonna hurt them. It's gonna make them even more angry.
Here's their pride.
Then
That's
they
why.
want to be friends. I'm telling you, it always
Yeah,
happens like that.
Nobody in their right mind disrespect.
But it will be a person that will come up your way one day, man.
Listen, man, that will be the end of them, bro.
Keep reading.
He just talking because he got a mouth.
And when he came in to go to the going up of Bethron, Bethron, Judas went forth to meet him with a small company. With a small company.
So Judas only had a small company. He only had a few soldiers with him.
300.
Like what you want to do? Yeah, this the original 300.
Exactly.
Right? Read on.
When they saw the host coming to meet them, and said unto Judas, how shall we be able, being so few, to fight against so great a multitude and so strong, seeing we are ready to faint with fasting all this day?
So now they was fasting. So they shouldn't even have no strength in them. They're like, yo, Judas, man, we was fasting. How we gonna fight against this great army before us? We still weak from the fast, man. Right? Read on. And I'm gonna tell you something about fasting, right? Read on.
Unto whom Judas answered, it is no hard matter for many to be shut up in the hands of a few. He said, and with the God of heaven, it is all one to deliver with a great multitude or a small company.
So now Judas just got that faith.
It's not about size.
Yeah, not about size, not
It's
about how
about
many
quality.
people they got.
Yeah.
Listen, me
Quality
and my
of soldiers.
brother, just me and my brother alone used to fight around 5 to 10 people. Just me and my brother getting jumped. All right. And a lot of times they were the ones leaving with knots on their heads. You understand? So it's nothing. Like, you think the odds be against you, but you really be surprised of what you could do when that time comes.
And one thing you gotta notice is everybody can't jump on you at once.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've been in a couple brawlouts and a couple brawls I've been in. You feel what I'm saying? I won. You feel what I'm saying? Trust me, I won.
It's about laying the straight hits.
The thing is this: it's about like I said, everybody can't hit you at one time. The same amount of people gonna be able to hit you is the same amount of people you can touch at the same time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Two piece and on to the next person. That's
And you want to know what's the key? When you get jump,
Move
first
around.
off, protect your face and protect your balls. Right. That's definitely key. Right. But when you get in jump, yo, just grab that one person.
Beat him up.
And everything that they hitting you with, you put that energy right into that one person. I remember one time I'm on the ground on top of a dude and everybody's stomping me out, right? Every time they stomping me out, I got my face in his chest. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. And he was getting it. And he was my human shield for that whole time.
If I was on the bottom and jump like that, I'll pick the dude up on the bottom, just throw him in front of the crowd, and then take another dude.
Me personally, it was always about it was always me. I never got in that situation.
Jonathan.
Yes, Jonathan.
I always moved around a lot. You feel what I'm saying?
Long time no
the
see,
whole
man.
time I'm moving. You feel me? But I'm tagging as I'm moving.
Yeah.
Whether I'm slamming, I'm punching, I'm doing everything. So it's like boom, 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 boom. I'm over here now. Boom, boom, boom. You feel me? Stay active.
Continue reading.
I never got.
I don't even know what verse.
What verse when?
Verse 19.
Verse
We're
19.
gonna speak on.
For the victory of battle standeth not in the multitude of the host, but
Tell
strengthening,
the brother Banks I say hi.
but strengthening come from heaven. They come against us in much pride and in iniquity to destroy us, and our wives and children to spoil us.
Now this was motivating them.
Yeah.
Because they looking at it like, yo, we not going to be the ones that just die. If we die, they're going to take our wives. They're going to take our children.
They're going to
take everything. We got to protect the little bit that we have. You understand?
Right.
So it was that spirit of protecting your loved ones that give you that strength to fight. You understand? When you outnumbered like that, right?
Too much to lose.
Yeah. Too much to
Exactly.
lose.
Too much to lose. Right? Read on.
I gotta write that down.
Yeah, wait.
Yeah, man.
All right. But we fight for our lives and our laws.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's from 21. But
21.
Keep going.
wherefore the Lord himself will overthrow them before our face. As for you, be ye not afraid of them.
So the Lord tell you, don't be afraid of them. You understand? Like even if you walking through the wrong hood and a bunch of cats try to run out to try to rob you or something like that, the Lord said, don't be afraid of them. Like the brother Yaakov said, you know, only but so many people can hit you at the same time, you know. So the size of the amount of people that's with them, it shouldn't be no fear that come into you. You know what I'm saying? Because at the same time, they still gotta get to you.
And I'm gonna say this though, for real. A lot of time, if it's 30 people, only 7 of them gonna fight. A lot of time, you feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, a lot of them just be there. Now, if it's going good, they gonna be in. But if it's not going good for them 7,
Man, people gonna get fit.
they gonna be
scared.
like, yeah. I'm telling you, that's how it
keep
be.
reading.
Now, as soon as he had left all speaking, he leapt exceedingly upon them.
So now after he done said this to encourage them, he just went down there ready to go war like
Suddenly.
suddenly. You understand? So Judas wasn't no joke. Silly, yo. Keep reading.
Very poetic, right? Talking about
Leapt
fights.
suddenly upon them. So Siron and his host were overthrown before him. And they pursued them from the going down of Bethon. How you say
Bethron.
Bethon unto the plain.
Yo!
Unto the plain where were slain about 800 men.
So now they ended up running from them, and as they running, we was killing them.
Yeah.
You understand? They running from us, we killing them at the same time. To the point
Like,
we
don't let
killing
none of them
800 men.
escape.
Exactly.
Don't let none of them escape.
And,
Read
Get them all.
and the residue fled into the land of the Philistines.
Read on.
They began fear.
So they went into Palestine. Read on.
Then began the fear of Judas and his brethren, an exceedingly great dread to fall upon the nations round about them. Insomuch as his fame came unto the king, and all nations talked of the battles of Judas.
So every time Judas Maccabeus won a battle like this, his name got more and more famous to the point, hey, he was a household name. Everybody knew about him. Everybody knew Judas Maccabeus. And they're like, yo, man, that guy, man, he's something. If you see him at war, just run.
Yeah.
Run. Dun, 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 dun. Keep reading.
Oh,
Like the Halal brothers. The Halal
yeah,
brothers.
like I know the song he's talking
The Halal brothers.
Like, dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's called the Halal
Now,
brothers,
when
right?
King
Like the
Antiochus, when King Antiochus heard these things, he was full of indignation. Wherefore he sent and gathered together all the forces of his realm, even a very strong army.
So now King Antiochus himself, who's ruling over this whole kingdom, is now like, you know what? Now I gotta go out there to fight this guy. Right? Read on.
He opened his treasure and gave his soldiers pay for a year.
So just to make sure, he's like, look, man, I'm gonna pay y'all to go out here because this is what they used to do in Rome and Greece. You know, they paid people to fight in their armies,
Yep.
right? So he had to take money from out the safe. Like, yo, I'm trying to get a lot of people to go fight against these
Not only
cats.
that, but the better you fight, the more it costs
Right.
for you to pay you to be in these wars too.
Read on.
Commanded them to be ready whensoever he should need them. Nevertheless, when he saw that the money of his treasures failed,
Who made that up?
that the tributes in the country were small because of the dissension and plague which he had brought upon the land and taken away the laws which he had been of old time.
So now he started to notice he didn't have, his bank wasn't as big as he thought.
Yeah.
You understand? He didn't have that much bank because he took the law, statutes, and commandments out of the land. And when people not following the laws in the land, the land don't prosper.
Mm-hmm.
The crops stop growing. All right, a lot of the cattle die in Israel. Even now, today, with the Israelis there, if you go over there, Israel don't look like Israel according to the scriptures.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible describes Israel as a land flowing with milk and honey. You go over there and it look like the city now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then the parts where it's land at, it look like a daggone desert. Because the real Jews is not there. You understand? And then the wasteland that they had gave our people that went to Damona, Israel, done flourished. And why? Because the land is yielding to the true Hebrew Israelites and not to the Israelis. Right? Read on.
He feared that he should not be able to bear the charges any longer, nor to have such gifts to give so liberally as he did before. For he had abundant above the kings that were before him. Wherefore, being greatly perplexed in his mind, he determined to go into Persia.
Right. So now, mind you, they had conquered the Persians already. The Persians paid tribute to them.
Yeah.
But now his money low. And the Persians still got bank. So he said, let me go over there and take some more money from these cats.
Yeah.
Right? Read on.
There to take the tributes of the countries and to gather much money. So he left
Lassius.
So he left Lassius, a noble man, one of the blood royal, to oversee the affairs of the king for rivers of Euphrates unto the borders of Egypt.
So pretty much all of the Middle East, all the way from like Iraq, going into Africa. All right. All of the kings there, that's what he ruled over. All right. Read on.
And to bring his son Antiochus unto him, until he came again.
Read on.
Moreover, he delivered unto him the half of his forces and the elephants, and gave him charge of all things that he would have done, as also concerning them that dwelt in Judah and Jerusalem.
So now he got the army, because the Persians, they was experts at using the elephants as pretty much like army tanks.
Yeah.
You understand? So now
Loading
he got the
trucks, army tanks.
right. So he got the army behind him. He got everything now from these guys. Right. Read on.
To wit, that he should send an army against them to destroy and root out the strength of Israel and the remnant of Jerusalem, to take away their memorial from that place.
So now he's pretty much telling the Persians, I want you to kill these cats and kill everybody so that there won't be no memory of who they are. I don't even want the memorial standing. I don't want nothing. And 100 years from now, people gonna say Israel don't exist. That's what I want. And that's the goal of all of the nations. They always wanted us to never exist and it be nothing else but a fairy tale. All right, read on.
And that he should place strangers, in all their quarters.
And then after you kill all of the Israelites, put other nations to live in that land. Right? Read on.
You didn't dig into Maccabees like that, huh? He highlighted
it. That one.
Telling you, I read both first and second Maccabees, the whole entire books. Like, this is probably going to be like my 4th, 5th time reading this book, man. I love this book to death. You know what I'm saying? To life. Read on.
Okay.
When you're done writing your notes.
That's good.
What he said.
And that he should place strangers in all their quarters and divide their land by lot. So the king took the half of the forces that remained and departed from Antioch.
Antioch.
Yeah, Antioch. And his royal city, the 147th year, having passed the river Euphrates, he went through the high countries. Then Lassius, as we said, Lassius chose Ptolemy, the son of Dominus.
Hold on real quick. What is
It's Ptolemy.
Say,
The T
flip the
silent.
reader.
The T silent.
It's her turn.
I wanted to be loud because I want to just hurry up, get through it. There's a lot of verses.
Dorimins.
I heard her read before.
Really?
It's not Doremus.
Doremus.
The meanest.
What verse is it?
Dorminus.
I think the wise sound.
Dorminus.
The wise
Dorminus.
sound.
Where's verse?
Right.
Is
Verse 38.
38.
And Nicanor and Georges, mighty men of the king's friends. And with them he sent 40,000 footmen, 7,000 horsemen to go into the land of Judah and to destroy it, as the kings commanded. So they went forth with all their power and came and pitched by
Emis.
in the plain country. And the merchants of the country, hearing the fame of them, took silver and gold very much with servants and came into the camp to buy the children of Israel for slaves.
So that's what they wanted to do, right? They wanted to enslave us, right?
Yeah.
Read on.
A power also of Syria and of the land of the Philistines joined themselves unto them. Now when Judas and his brethren saw the miseries were multiplied, and that the forces did encamp themselves in their borders, for they knew how the king had given commandment to destroy the people and utterly abolish them, they said one to another, let us restore and decay estate of our people, and let us fight for our people in the sanctuary.
Right. So now they got back some of the lands, but they never got back Jerusalem yet.
Yeah.
You understand? So now they see this great army coming against Jerusalem, our people being enslaved over there. They seeing that things got worse. And they're like, yo, we didn't do this for things to get worse. We did it for things to get better, but they going to keep coming. You understand? They're going to keep coming. They're not going to let up. So now we got to go for the main goal now. You understand? Because at first they were just doing land here, take back the city here. Now they're like, yo, we just got to go for the main goal and get the sanctuary back.
Yep.
Let's get the temple back. Read on.
Then was the congregation gathered together that they might be ready for battle, and that they might pray and ask mercy and compassion. And Jerusalem lay void as a wilderness. There was none of her children that went in or out.
Right. So now the city was destroyed. It was like a wilderness. Nobody was in there. You understand? It was like walking into a dead zone. Read on.
The sanctuary also was trodden down, and aliens kept the stronghold.
The sanctuary, they pretty much defiled our temple. All right, it was trodden down, looked all beat up and dingy. Right, read on.
And the joy was taken from Jacob, and the pipe with the harp ceased. Wherefore the Israelites assembled themselves together and came to Massia.
King, get down.
Over Jerusalem, for in Massia was the place where they prayed aforetime in Israel.
Read on.
Then they fasted that day and put on sackcloth and cast ashes upon their head and rent their clothes.
Right, so they mourned that day, and they fast and they prayed before going to war. All right, because war is a physical battle, but it's a spiritual thing too, because the Lord is the one who decides who wins the war and who doesn't.
Yeah.
So now we got to pray to the Most High, hope that we in enough favor that the Most High deem us worthy to win the war.
Yeah.
Right? Read on.
Okay.
48.
And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen has sought to paint in the likeness of their images.
So now the book of the law is the Bible. All right, and we had images of ourselves. We would make images of not to worship, but we had images of to show like, yo, Moses and the prophets. But when the Greeks got a hold to our books, they tried to change the images and make everybody white.
Like they have none.
Like today, how they got white Jesus. You understand? When the Bible described Jesus Christ as a man of color with woolly hair.
Like before you came in, before you came and heard about this, you never knew that Christ was black. You feel what I'm saying? I'm talking about before you heard of Hebrew Israelites. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Before you taught the Gandhi, you probably thought Christ was white. You probably thought Jesus was
No,
white.
let me tell you what. Uncle Ghani, he don't believe in
Oh,
Jesus.
Ghani.
Oh,
He
no.
believe in
So he one of them.
Yahshua.
Okay.
Yahshua.
Yahshua.
That's the same thing. That's the same
He
person.
He don't like that.
That name is. He think the name
like the name
fake.
Jesus.
He think the name fake.
Yeah.
It throws him off.
I think that is a fake
understand.
name, right?
Yeah, so I mean Jesus is
It's
a
a
Greek
Greek
name.
translation.
That's not
That's
that's
why
not
you
his
like
real name anyway. His real name is Yahushua.
Yeah.
Some people say Yeshua
It's
or
like Jesus, the real name
Yehoshua,
is
but it's not
Joshua.
Jesus. Jesus is not
Joshua.
his name. You know?
Yeah, so I understand what you're saying, but at the end of the day, most of the world perceive it as being, you feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Caucasian. You feel what I'm saying? An Edomite. You feel me? All these white people as prophets. That's how they switch everything.
Moses
around.
too.
You ready? Yeah. Are you ready?
All right, keep reading.
They brought also the priest's garments and the first fruits, the tithes and the Nazarites, they stirred up, who had accomplished their days. Then cried they with a loud voice toward heaven, saying, What shall we do with these, and whither shall we carry them away? For their sanctuary is trodden down and profane.
So this is the prayer that they praying to the Most High. They went and got some official priest and everything, you know, and they cried out to the Most High. What are we going to do? They done took the sanctuary. They destroyed everything, right? What you was gonna say?
It mentioned something about Nazarites.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they was
Is it true that Nazarites don't cut their hair?
for a time period. So you could be a Nazarite. Let's say you make a vow to be a Nazarite for 6
years.
months or 7 years. You're not allowed to cut your hair within those 7 years. And now when your vow is over, then part of ending your vow is you cut all of your dreads off. You understand?
Show it off of the vow.
Right. And show that you offer the vow. And that's what happened here. They had other priests that had took a Nazarite vow. You understand? And now the vows is over. So now they say, all right, we're going to get you because we need an actual priest to go before the Lord. All right. And we about to pray because we about to go to war.
And also, you know, you gotta stay away from grapes as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Anything
saying?
that come from the vine. Anything that comes from the vine. Right. Read on.
Okay, try to.
Cheating.
Verse 52.
And lo, the heathen are assembled together against us to destroy us. What things they imagined against us, thou knowest.
Like Mathal said when we was at camp last week, he said, yo, if you believe Jesus is white, you better prepare for another 1,000 years of slavery. You know what I'm saying? Who knows what these people have planned for us? Who knows?
Yeah.
Right?
They never had plans of peace for us.
Right? Read on.
How should we be able to stand against them, except thou, O God, be our help? Then sounded they with trumpets and cried with a loud voice. And after this, Judas ordained captains over the people, even captains over thousands, and over hundreds, and over 50s, and over 10s.
So now that shows you how deep they was rolling now. You understand? So Judas like, all right, you gonna be over 1,000, you over 500, you over 200. I want you to be over that little 50 squadron over there. You understand? Right? I mean, this is being set in order right here. Read on.
But as for such as were building houses, or had betrothed wife, or were planting vineyards, or were fearful, those he commanded that they should return every man to his own house according to the law.
Because it was a custom in our law. It was not a custom. It was a law. All right. In Deuteronomy chapter 24, that said, listen, if you was afraid, you can't go to war. All right. If you just got married, you
That's the law
cannot
right there.
go to war. No, if you was afraid, or if you just got married, or if you had just got a house. You understand? You wasn't allowed to go to war. You had to handle that business first. You understand? Imagine you just got married. Like I be watching some of these old American films and stuff where somebody just got engaged or married and then they go to war and they die and all of that stuff.
They leave them without kids or nothing.
Yeah, that's stupidity. The Bible says, nah, you just got married. You got to be with that woman for a whole year to cheer up your wife. You're not supposed to work, go to war, nothing like that. You got to take a whole year just to get to know your wife.
Yeah.
This is the reason why
Get to know your wife, get her pregnant,
have
all
the
that good stuff.
highest divorce rate in the world. Because people don't even got a chance to get to know one another. You barely take enough time to get to know one another before you get married. Then you get married,
You always
and you always working and everything.
Get
Y'all totally
tired
complete
home.
strangers living in the same house.
Yeah.
Word up.
You know.
You get home tired. You don't even have patience now to even deal with her or her to deal with you.
So this was a law that those type of people was not allowed to go to war. You understand? Because imagine having somebody scared go out there to war with you. Because I remember back in the day, we used to have somebody that used to be scared to fight, and whenever we was about to get jumped or something like that, whatever, first thing that person do, you look around, he was out. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to throw dirt on the brother. But
Hell there though.
I don't run.
Imagine
Unless they got a gun.
you go to war with somebody like that, and when you get there, they just get scared. Like, oh my goodness, today's the day that we all gonna die. He gonna put fear in the whole camp. Everybody gonna start that fear gonna run through one person to another. That everybody's scared. Like, yo, you heard what he said? Today's the day that we all gonna die. You can't win a war like that.
Not only that, but it could be where you're in a tight situation, right? And he fighting his own. He don't even think about defending you, because like when people that is not afraid, they'll pair up and be like, I got your back, you got mine, and let's go at it. But somebody that is scared, they'll bounce, and now you don't have nobody like they got your back.
My thing is like, the thing is like what she's saying. When I used to go out, I used to be in the streets. So when I was in the streets, it's like basically, I used to have this saying, you feel what I'm saying? Because a lot of people always wanted to go with us a lot of places. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of people wanted to go with us a lot of places. Like, we had a whole hood and everybody wanted to go with these guys, you feel me? That's holding stuff down. They wanted to go with them out. You feel me? So what I used to be saying to them, like, listen, if anything happened and you run,
I'm gonna find you.
I'm whipping you. and for real, I'm telling you, it always worked. Everybody turn around. You feel what I'm saying? Everybody that wasn't really about that, they turn around.
Gotta go.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's the thing about it. That's the type of people you need. Don't need with you when you going
right.
Going
and another thing too, because some people might have that pride in their heart. Like, I ain't scared. Like, yo, don't lie to yourself.
Yeah.
Don't lie to yourself, it's not just about everybody else, it's about yourself too. If you scared, you might be the first to die. So don't lie to yourself.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong with backing out from a fight. At least you still live to see another day.
Yeah.
You understand?
Because even what you have mentioned, right, about like, if the dude have a gun, then maybe I'll run then. Sometimes that's actually the bad choice. Because let me tell you something. Even you play those games like I play. The ones that start running away, what do? You chase after them, and from the back, a bullet is easy to just shoot somebody. But if he has a gun,
somebody that's afraid, you don't want to put a gun in the hands of somebody that's afraid. This is how you have friendly fire in the military.
That's not what I was talking about.
But I know that's not what she was talking about. But I'm making a different point.
About an easy target.
Because I know she was talking about an easy target, but I'm making a different point. You don't want to put a gun in the hands of somebody that's afraid. They could accidentally shoot their own team members. You understand? So it's nothing wrong with somebody backing out. Like, people going, we know how the world thinks. People going to make fun of you and all of that stuff. But see, that's why the law was written, so people don't do that. So before we go to war, we tell people, yo, if you're afraid, you got to go. And then if they leave, like, we ain't making fun of them because now our mind is focused on the war. You see what I'm saying?
We got bigger things.
Yeah, we got bigger things to think about and to do. So there's nothing wrong with somebody backing out. You know what I'm saying?
If you're not ready for it,
if you ain't ready for that war,
it's
then
fine. Nothing wrong with that.
But read on. What time is it?
So the camp removed and pitched upon the south side of Emmaus. And Judas said, arm yourselves and be violent men. And see that ye be in readiness against the morning.
Meaning first thing in the morning, the war going to start. Read on.
That ye may fight with these nations that are assembled together against us to destroy us in our sanctuary.
Read on.
For it is better for us to die in battle than to behold the calamities of our people in our sanctuary. Nevertheless, as the will of God is in heaven, So let him do.
So he ain't give him no speech to give him a fantasy of they gonna win and none of that stuff. He just said, listen, if we die, it's better that we die like this than to just let them roll over us and kill us and destroy everything we got. You know what I mean?
That was that Black Panther speech right there. Bury me in the water with my ancestors that jumped off the boat. You remember that was sounding like epic, like you know what I'm saying?
He was. I'm gonna be honest with you. He was a thorough enemy, yo.
Yeah.
Like I have not seen a villain like that with a heart in a long time.
Pretty good
Yeah.
on that one, man.
He wasn't just like bad.
Right.
He was bad for like a cause. You know what I mean? Yeah.
He was going to
Bad for a
Archer.
cause.
He used to go to our time. So let's go. We're gonna do this next chapter, or we're gonna leave it here.
All right, 4. I'll read 4.
Okay. All right, let's go. Read.
Just to do the 2 chapters a day. Then took Gorgias 5 Gorgias.
Go on.
Then took Gorgias 5,000 footmen, and 1,000 of them of the best horsemen, and removed out of the camp by night, to the end he might rush in upon the camp of Jews. Of the Jews.
So now you had somebody at nighttime thinking that they was going to sneak around our camp and then try to do a sneak attack on us.
Yeah.
Right? Read on.
And smite them suddenly. And the men of the fortress were his guides. Now when Judas heard thereof, he himself removed and the violent men with him, that he might smite the king's army, which was at
Emmaus.
Emmaus.
Right. Now check this out. So when Judas heard about that, he said, you know what? We're going to do our own little sneak attack. So he took only the strongest men, hid himself among them because everybody's aiming for him. You understand? Everybody aiming for Judas. So he said, let me get the strongest men and I'm going to just be amongst them so that way they all got my back.
Yeah.
All right? Read on.
Not only that, but if a lot of them fight good, how can you distinguish him?
Read on.
It said, while as yet the forces were dispersed from the camp.
Right. So now as they trying to do a sneak attack around us and they dispersing their forces to try to surround us, we using that as an opportunity because now they not all together as one. Right? Read on.
In the mean season came Gorgias by night into the camp of Judas.
Right. Now, the mean season is talking about winter because all of this is happening in winter. All right. The celebration of this is actually, I think the 25th of the 9th month. Right? According to the new moon. Read on.
And remember this. You feel me? It do snow in Israel. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was cold out there. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Read on.
It said, and when he found no men there, he sought them in the mountains, for said he, this fellow flee from us.
So now when they came to do the sneak attack on us, they ain't see nobody there. They're like, yo, where the heck everybody go? These guys was afraid, man. They ran from us, yo. You know, they thinking it's all good now. Read on.
But as soon as it was day, Judas showed himself in the plain with 3,000 men, who nevertheless had neither armor nor sword to their minds.
Right, so listen. These guys don't even have no swords. No armor to protect them. Right? Because we was living in the wilderness. All we had was what we was taking from the soldiers that we defeated. So when they came to do the sneak attack on us, they're like, yo, these cats going. When the sun rose, we surrounding them. We came out of nowhere. Hey, y'all thought y'all was going to get something off with us, right? But see, this is why Trump said about the caravan coming up. He said, consider a rock a weapon. If they throw a rock at you, shoot them down. This is what he said to the U.S. military.
Yeah, because one rock don't hurt, but a whole bunch of them do.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And this is how our people do. We're gonna go in, raw hands and everything.
Yeah.
We're gonna fight the military if we have to.
Exactly.
Right? Read on.
And they saw the camp of the heathen, that it was strong and well harnessed, and compassed round about with horsemen, and these were experts of war. Then said Judas to the men that were with him, fear ye not their multitude, neither be ye afraid of their assault. Remember how our fathers were delivered into the Red Sea, when Pharaoh pursued them with an army. Now therefore let us cry unto heaven, if peradventure the Lord will have mercy upon us, and remember the covenant of our fathers, and destroy this host before our face this day, that so all the heathen may know that there is one who delivereth and saveth Israel.
Because Israel is the proof that God exists, that the God of the Bible exists. Right? So he said, look, when we win this battle, everybody gonna know the God of the Bible is the real God. Forget what you heard, right? Read on.
Then the strangers lift up their eyes and saw the coming over against them. Wherefore they went out of the camp to battle. But they that were with Judas sounded their trumpet.
Right. So now it's on. The war is starting. You know, so they thought they was going to do that sneak attack on us, and we did the sneak attack on them. And we sounded those trumpets, blew that ram's horn, and went down there. Read on.
They joined the battle, and the heathen, being discomfited, fled into the plain.
Right. So they wasn't able to fight because we was giving them the words.
They were scared too.
Yeah. So they started running. Right. Read on.
Howbeit all the hitmost of them were slain with the sword, for they pursued them into Gazra. Yeah.
Right. Today, in today's time, they call it Gaza.
Yeah, Gaza.
Right. Read
Africa. Unto the plains of Idumea.
Right. And they went into Esau's land. All right. The Edomites that was still living there, they started running back home. Right. Read on.
And Azotus. And Jamina. So that there was slain of them upon 3,000 men. This done, Judas returned again with his host from pursuing them.
So pretty much we aired them out. They ran from us, and we tore their behinds up. Right? Read on.
And said to the people, be not greedy of the spoils, inasmuch as there is battle before us. They'll start picking everything up because we're not done yet.
Yeah, right. Because we went back to get their weapons and armor and whatever was left behind on dead soldiers and stuff like that. But then Judas was like, yo, but don't be greedy because they left food too. You understand? So you got cats that was fasting and eating days, whatever. Judas like, yo, don't be greedy because the war ain't over yet. We still fighting. We just got rid of them. But we still in the midst of the battle right now.
Get them weapons.
Right. Read on.
And Gorgias and his hosts are here by us in the mountains. But stay ye not against our enemies. Now against our enemies, and overcome them. And after this, ye may boldly take the spoils.
So he said, look, we could come back and get the rest of this stuff, but let's continue the battle at hand. Read on.
It's saying shalom.
Shalom.
As Judas yet speaking these words, there appeared a part of them looking out of the mountain, who when they perceived that the Jews had put their host to flight and were burning, was seen declare
burning the tents.
Was seen declare was done.
For the smoke that was seen declared what was done. So in other words, the troops that was left over, because they felt like yo, these cats, we're gonna do a sneak attack on them, and then we're gonna defeat them. But then when they seen that it didn't defeat us, and that all of the tents and everything was burned up, they see the smoke going in the air. They said, "Oh snap!
They got down.
The Jews is got down, and now they about to come for us." Right? Read on.
When therefore they perceived these things, they were sore afraid.
Because you gotta understand, they sent the illest of them over there. You know,
They sent like assassins.
right? You know what I'm saying. So now for us to defeat them, it's putting fear in the rest of them. Right? Read on.
And seeing also the hosts of Judah in the plains ready to fight, they fled everyone into the land of strangers.
So they started hauling butt. They just
Anywhere they
started
could go.
running and went to anywhere they could go. They was like, "Yo, let's get out of here! They coming!
Yeah.
The Hebrew Israelites is coming." Read on.
Then Judas returned to spoil the tents, where they got much gold and silver and blue silk and purple of the sea and great riches. After this, they went home and sung a song of thanksgiving.
Now, this is the real Thanksgiving, all right? Winning a war over our enemies,
Yeah.
all right? Because Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving for them.
Because they won the war
Because they
over
won
us.
a war over us and our
Yeah.
people that was living here in the Americas first. But now here, we gave Thanksgiving because we won
Say
a war
songs
against
of
them.
thanksgiving and praise the Lord in heaven because it is good, because his mercy endures forever.
Read on.
Thus Israel had a great deliverance that day. Now all the strangers that had escaped came and told Lysias what had happened, who when he heard thereof was confounded
He
and
was
discouraged.
He was confused. He was like, "Yo, I sent the best of them. How they defeat them?" Yeah, that's what's gonna happen to Donald Trump when that caravan come, and then and if the race war start happening, and report get back to Trump, he gonna be like, "The U.S. military though, like these
How did they run around them?
How?" Read on.
But like, because neither such thing as he found, as he were done unto Israel, no such thing as the king commanded him were come to pass. The next year, therefore, following Lysias gathered together 300,000 choice men of foot, and 5,000 horsemen, that he may subdue them.
Y'all gotta understand, wars go on for years. You
Yeah.
understand?
Like,
so yeah.
Like,
So this is like an ongoing thing. Read on.
so they came into Adumia and pitched their tents at Beth Zura. And Judas met them with 10,000 men. And when he saw that mighty army, he prayed and said, "Blessed art thou, O Savior of Israel, who didst quell the violence of the mighty men by the hand of thy servant David."
People keep thinking about David because David was that warrior man.
Bloody man.
So whenever you go to war, you be thinking about the warriors of the Bible. And like, yo, like, give me the strength for David. You understand? Read on.
And give us the host of the strangers into the hand of Jonathan, the son of Saul,
Read on.
and his arm bearer.
Right. Look, they ain't forget about Jonathan either.
Yeah,
David's
Jonathan
best
was
friend.
serious too.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Read on.
Flocks of a feather fly together. That's the saying. It said, "Shut up this army in the hands of the people Israel."
Hold on. King, cut it out. Read on.
And let them be confounded in their power of horsemen, make them to be of no courage, and cause the boldness of their strength to fall away, and let them quake at their destruction.
You know what's more powerful than prayer? Saying the right prayer. You understand? Some people, they be having faith. Well, I don't even know if they be having faith, because you got to pray for the right things. You can't just be like, God, make me rich. You know, you got to pray for the right things. Like, give me the license. Let him go to the bathroom. He got to go.
Just let him out. Not so long ago.
Cut it out.
He's just acting a fool.
And you know, in the scripture, it does say a lot of times. He said that you pray for
You pray amiss.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You got to pray for the right things, yo. You got to pray for the things that'll help you get through the battle. So he's strategically praying to the Most High, like put fear in their hearts, make them get scared when we go out there, because then he know if the fear is in them, it's going to make it easier for them to fight against the strong army. Read on.
Cast them down with the sword of them that love thee, and let all those that know thy name praise thee with thanksgiving. So they joined battle, and there were slain of the host of Lycia about 5,000 men. Even before them were they slain. Now when Lycia saw his army put to fight, and the manliness of Judah's soldiers, and how they were ready either to live or die valiantly.
Yo, imagine 10,000 Hebrew Israelites running down on you.
They're gonna be
and you looking at them like these cats don't
ready
care
to
if they live
They're
or
ride or die.
Man,
like Tupac
listen,
said.
yo, read on.
It said, he went into Antiochia and gathered together a company of strangers, and having made his army great than it was, he proposed to come again into Judea.
Right, so he went and got more people. He said, yo, these Israelites is crazy. I got to get more people to be part of my army. Read on.
Then said Judas, his brethren, behold, our enemies are discomfited. Let us go up to cleanse and dedicate the sanctuary.
So now we win in the battle, and we like, listen,
let's take opportunity.
They losing, we got it. We're gonna take Jerusalem. Let's get the sanctuary now. You understand? Read on.
Upon this, all the hosts assembled themselves together and went up into the Mount Zion. And when they saw the sanctuary desolated, and the altar profaned, and the gates burned up, and shrubs growing in the courts.
Imagine this.
As it was a forest.
This looked like an abandoned building. The temple looking like an abandoned building. This was devastating to see. Read on.
Or in one of the mountains, yea, and the priests' chambers pulled down. They rent their clothes and made great lamentation, and cast ashes upon their heads.
Cats started mourning, man. Y'all don't understand how important the temple was to us. You know, in today's time, everybody's occupied with TV and cell phones and all that stuff. But back during this time, the temple was the place to be. It was everything.
It was the place that we could communicate with God.
Exactly. You know, place of worship, a place to meet, a place to greet, a place. It was everything. They have the outer courts,
you know what I mean? Where people would come with family. And
right. Later on in the New Testament, you had Solomon's porch and all of these other places where people used to be at, and random people teaching their groups and all of that stuff. This was the place to be. And then you come there and the temple looked deserted and like an abandoned building. And you're going to find out when we celebrate Hanukkah, on the night of Hanukkah, and we go through the scriptures, you're going to find out cats made the temple into a club, man. The Greeks made the temple into a club, was having orgies in there,
it's similar,
partying and all of that stuff.
It's similar to, like, for example, when I came over here to the States and I ended up meeting his family, right? There was a point that everybody was at his aunt's house. everybody, his aunt, his cousin, his little cousin, everybody used to come by or be there. Every Friday was like almost like a party that we used to have, right? And then time passed, and now like his aunt passed, and everybody kind of like went their way. Like I go there to this day, I call it Grace House. You know what I mean? But it's just not the same. It's even sad. I don't talk about it like that. But when I look at it and I don't see she's there no more, her room is like desolate, like her stuff or nothing is there. It's almost like, you know, like a little pin in your heart, because it's a place that so many good memories was in, you know?
Read on.
It said, and fell down flat to the ground upon their face, and blew an alarm with the trumpets, and cried towards heaven. Then Judas appointed certain men to fight against those that were in the fortress until he had cleansed the sanctuary.
So now Judas said, listen, y'all got to keep the battle going.
Wow.
So that y'all guys, y'all fight.
Clean up.
All right, and these guys right here, y'all Levites, y'all from what tribe? Okay, you gonna come, y'all gonna help me cleanse this temple.
Wow,
right?
that's deep though.
So yeah.
So they talking about cleansing the temple while
In the middle of war.
Yeah.
While they're in the middle
That's
of
crazy,
war.
man. That's crazy. That's dedication right there.
Right? Read on.
Shut up.
That's
So
crazy how you can be cleaning. They probably looking like these niggas cleaning up.
Yep.
So he chose priests of blameless conversation, such as had pleasure in the law.
You got to understand that when we had priests, it couldn't just be anybody, because you got a lot of people that, you know, they good, well-mannered and stuff like that. They say, yo, these guys got to be blameless. This is the same thing in the New Testament. Whoever going to be a bishop or a deacon, you got to be blameless, meaning it's not just good enough for you to follow this law. You got to be blameless to the point people can't find nothing against you. You know what I'm saying? Like even the appearance of evil can't be around you.
Yeah.
You understand? Ain't none of us in here blameless. Like, you understand? But they made sure that even though they was fighting the battle, they said, yo, I'm fighting the battle to get the temple, but I got to get somebody that's more blameless than me to run the temple.
Yeah.
You understand?
And also, you could tell that these were certain men because they was out on the war grounds. You feel
Yeah,
me?
yeah, and the priest
they
wasn't
was
no
fighting.
joke.
You
Yeah.
feel me? They wasn't
Yeah.
no soft men. These wasn't
Yeah,
no,
there wasn't a regular Levites. Like, they were just blameless, but that don't mean that they didn't got down, in other words.
Right, no, they got down still too.
It was
They wasn't
time to
walking
get busy.
these shallow.
Yeah, you feel me? Incense fire. You feel
Right.
me? Nah, they knew what they was doing. They knew what time it
Right.
was.
Read
It
on.
said, who cleansed the sanctuary and bear out the defiled stones into the unclean place.
Right, because they sacrifice swine flesh and unclean beasts on top of our temples and all of that.
Top of the altar.
I mean, top of the altar. They say, yo, we can't even use this altar no more. Break that thing down and take those stones and put them somewhere. Read on.
And when, as they consulted what to do with the altar of burnt offerings, which was profane, they thought it best to pull it down, lest it should be a reproach to them.
Right. Read on.
Because the heathen had defiled it. Wherefore they pulled it down and laid up the stones in the mount of the temple, in the convenient place, until there should be a prophet to show what should be done with them.
Read on.
Then they took whole stone according to the law, and pulled a new altar and built a new altar according to the form. The form.
Right, because we couldn't just like make stones and have them nice, neatly cut and all of that to make an altar. The Lord said, don't do that. Get random stones that's out there and then use that to make the altar, meaning something that man would consider imperfect
He
to
used to
create
use
something for perfection.
I mean, it's crazy though, because in our eyes it may look like, oh, this stone needs to be square,
Right.
but God
made it.
God made it. It's like, yo, why you want to change what I made? You saying that what I made is not perfect?
Yeah, so
Right.
in the imperfection, there's
Right.
perfection.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I mean, it teaches you a lot, because even when people look at people like David, he was perfect in his eyes, but at the end of the day, like David was always like, "Oh my God, forgive me for doing this and forgive me for doing that," you know.
Right.
But hey,
Read on.
it made up the sanctuary and the things that were within the temple, and hallowed the courts. They made also new holy vessels, and into the temple they brought the candlesticks.
And then this is the reason why the menorah, all right, is something that's like the highlight of Hanukkah, because the candlesticks were supposed to be burning 24 hours a day in the temple. It was supposed to be never a day where those candles go out. Before those candles go out, you replace them with the same fire and put new candles in. You understand? So to bring the candles and to light them back up in the temple, that was like a highlight for us, right? Read on.
And the altar of burnt offerings and of incense and the table. And upon the altar they burned incense, and the lamps that were upon the candlestick they litten, that they may
they lighted.
That they may give light in the temple.
And the candlestick that we had was not nine candlesticks. It was not 8 candlesticks like what the Jewish people be doing. And how do we know that? Well, what's up? Go to Revelations 1 real quick. 1 and 12.
How many was it?
We about to read it.
Look over there.
How many you see right there?
3, 7.
7, right? Now, watch what the Bible tell you. During Christ's time, this is Jesus Christ. Read Revelations 1 and 12.
And I turned to see the voice that spake with me.
The voice was Christ speaking. Read on.
Being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks.
He saw what?
7 golden candlesticks.
He saw 7 golden candlesticks. Read on.
In the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with the garment down to the foot.
So that's Jesus Christ. All right. And he was using a 7 candlestick menorah, not an 8 and not a 9. So they made up a Jewish fable to support that, because that goes into the whole doctrine of each day you light a candle, and for 8 days, each day when you light a candle, you give out gifts and all of that stuff. Yeah. We haven't read that yet. We haven't read that yet, right? Read on in Maccabees.
Furthermore, they set the loaves upon the table and spread out the veil and finished all the works which they had begun to make.
Right, so they done straighten everything up, clean. Imagine cleaning up in the middle of a war. You understand? Taking the shrubs down and scrubbing the temple and putting everything back in order. You know, the guys that were still on the field got to be vicious, yo.
They gotta be serious,
Right, read on.
Now on the 5 and 10th day of the 9th month, which it was called the month of Caslu, in the 140 and
no, it's the 5th and 20th day. I was about to say.
I'm sorry.
10th day.
Now in the 5th and 20th day of the 9th month, which is called the month of Caslu, in the 140 and 8th day, eighth year, they rose up and be times in the morning.
That's crazy. How they gonna be fighting before the
Read on.
And offer sacrifice according to the law upon the new altar, and burnt offerings, which they made. So they have made.
So now the 25th day of the 9th month years ago was when they actually took the temple from us. The same day, the 25th day of the 9th month, we got the temple back, and did our first sacrifice in the temple since getting it back. Read on.
What the heathen had profaned it, even in that was it dedicated with songs and psalterns. What is that? Ciders.
I have to look that up.
And harps and symbols.
So we had the instruments and everything.
Symbolis is, I think that's the same thing. Symbols
Tambourines
is
and cymbals.
like tambourines.
Yeah.
Yeah, symbolis.
Right.
They call it in Spanish symbolis. That's what I was saying. Puerto Rico.
Right. Read on.
Then all the people fell upon their face, worshiping and praising the God of heaven, who had given them good success. And so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days.
So that's what Hanukkah means. It's dedication or rededication. That's what it means. Read on. And they kept it and they celebrated the rededicating of this altar for how long? Read that again.
For 8 days.
For 8 days. Read on.
And offer burnt offerings with gladness and sacrifice the sacrifice of deliverance and praise.
Read on.
They deck also the forefront of the temple with crowns of gold.
And this is
crowns of gold.
And this is how they used to decorate during Hanukkah. They didn't decorate with a Christmas looking like thing with evergreen trees and Christmas lights and all of that. They used like golden symbols of crowns and rulership and war. This is what they used, right? Read on.
And with shields.
Because the shields represented the war.
Yeah.
Right? Read on.
And the gates and the chambers, they renewed. And hanged doors upon them.
Read on.
Thus there very great gladness among the people, for that the reproach of the heathen was put away.
Right, because looking at the temple like that every day was a reproach unto us. So now that we have fixed the temple up, everybody was happy and celebrating. Read on.
Moreover, Judas and his brethren with the whole congregation of Israel ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year by the space of 8 days, from the 5th and 20th day of the month of Caslu, with myrrh and gladness.
Right, so we celebrated it for 8 days because you're going to find out in 2 Maccabees chapter 10, verse 5 through 7, that we was told to celebrate it like Feast of Dedication. All right. And we was told to celebrate it the exact same way we celebrate Feast of Dedication. So the first day we have a service and we go through the ordinances thereof, and then we celebrate all throughout the week. And then on the 8th day, we have another service to close it out. Right? Read on.
At that time also they built up the Mount Zion with high walls and strong towers round about, lest the Gentiles could come and tread it down, as they had done before.
Right, because
so Mount Zion.
Mount Zion. Talking about.
So they made like 4 pillars in Mount Zion just to watch.
They had the walls. Like we had walls around Jerusalem. You understand?
Gotcha.
But the heathens came and broke those walls down. So now later on, Simon was the one who actually had the walls rebuilt and put back up so that we could protect the holy city and the people that was inside.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
Smart
they like Daddy said. And they said they're a garrison to keep it and fortify Beth Zura. To prevent it, to preserve it, that the people may have a defense against Idumea.
And Idumea is Esau. That's Edom. All right. So we had to make sure we was able to defend ourselves against the Edomites, because you had Edomites that was still living in their native land that was right next to us, and they was using that as an advantage. The Greeks was able to conquer us because the Edomites that was living right next to us was working side by side with them. You understand? So we had to build that wall to protect ourselves. You know, and this is what Hanukkah's about. We got the temple back, we rededicated it to the Lord, and we celebrated the same way how Feast of Tabernacle. Go to 2 Maccabees chapter 10, verse 5 through 7, real quick.
Your turn.
Yaakov.
Can you read one time, Monty?
She can read it. You want to read, Monty? All right. Well, if
Mike,
she don't
you
want to
can
read, it's
read,
all
right?
right.
You can read, right? Yeah. Okay.
How would I be a freshman?
He
if I
asked
can't
if
read?
you could read.
My bad. It's
You
people that
said,
make it be
Second
freshmen.
Maccabees chapter
Chapter 10
Y'all need to, oh,
and
y'all
read
need to
verse
count it
5.
up.
chapter 10 verse 5.
Chapter 10.
Yes. Second Maccabees chapter 10, verse 5 to 7.
Put him to read. That's what you need to do. This clown over
Yeah,
here.
bro.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's
I ain't
chapter
no
10
punk.
verse
You
5.
read it.
Chapter 10 verse 5.
Go ahead, Mr. I ain't no punk. Read loud with authority.
Get off me.
Wow.
Second Maccabees chapter 10 verse 4.
Nah, again, that's too soft.
Now upon the same day that
Alright.
the strangers
Hold on. She said that was too soft, brother.
Second Maccabees chapter 10 verse 5. Read like that.
Yeah.
now upon the same day that the strangers profaned the temple, on the very same day it was cleansed again. Even the 5th and 12th day of the same month, which is
5 and 20th day.
20.
All right. Keep reading.
Okay. Let me find out. No, go ahead.
Even the 5th and 20th day of the same month, which is Cassio.
Mm-hmm.
And they kept 8 days with gladness, as in the feast of the tabernacles, remembering that no long before that had held the feast of the tabernacles.
Mm-hmm. So they kept it like the Feast of Tabernacles because they was like, yo, not too long ago, only 2 months ago, we had to keep the Feast of Tabernacles and we was really living in the wilderness. The idea of keeping the Feast of Tabernacles is to remember when we was in the wilderness.
Yeah.
But this time they was really in the wilderness.
Yeah.
So they say, yo, it's only right that when we celebrate the rededicating of this altar, that we celebrate it like Feast of Tabernacles, because not too long ago we was just doing that. Read on.
When as they wandered in the mountains and dens like beasts.
So they had to remember that because we had the hide in
Read
caves
regular,
and
bro.
all of that stuff.
Read regular.
You know what I mean? Stop making fun of them. So we had to wander like beasts. All right.
All right, switch it here. Your turn.
Go to stay in the same book, but go to chapter 1, verse 9.
Let's see how you read.
1.
And just, and I'm gonna treat you according to your level too.
Okay. If I can see these words. You said chapter 1 verse 9.
You blind?
Yeah, read that. He need glasses.
And now see that ye keep a feast of tabernacles in the month of Cassio. In the 104 in 8th year.
Don't rush through it.
The people that were
Take your
Jerusalem
time.
and the Judah and the
No,
council.
I'm gonna do the same thing because he was making fun of
But for
us.
real though, the scripture need to be read. Though.
Yeah, I know.
So
That's what I'm telling him.
All right,
I'm
read on.
understood too.
And now that ye keep the feast of tabernacles in the month Castile in the 104 and 8th year, that people that were Jerusalem and Judah and the council and Judah sent greeting and health unto how you pronounce that?
Archbishop.
Baby.
Archbluis.
Let me see.
This was it.
Archbishop.
You separated into their vows.
But
Aristobulus. You can read it as Aristobulus.
But the point is that they was
We give up on
keeping
you.
the feast like Feast of Tabernacles. This is the reason why this year we're going to camp out in the backyard. We're going to have the campfire going. You know what I'm saying? If y'all want to come by at nighttime while we still there, we're going to be reading some stories about Native American Indians. We're going to be reading this book right here by my man Geronimo. You know what I mean?
You guys can see
Oh,
it.
that's what people like Geronimo.
Yeah, Geronimo.
Yeah,
You
Geronimo.
heard the saying before, but did you ever know it was a real person?
No, I like when people like jump in the pool, they be like Geronimo.
Oh, you learn why then.
Now I'm about to learn why. And we pretty much gonna be out there, man. That campfire gonna be going every night because we're gonna need that heat
So
for
funny
the
because they
winter.
even have it in Spanish.
We're gonna have
too.
our tents out there and we're gonna be doing our thing.
Yeah, they do.
All right. So in saying that, I pray that y'all enjoyed today's lesson about Hanukkah, and I pray that everybody stay in the spirit throughout.
Shut up!
And we see each other again next week. Shalom.
Shalom.
Yo, something wrong with